Good morning, all. Mary Bulger here, naturalist with Iowa County Conservation, and I want to welcome you to our 10th and final holiday nature craft, our short video here. And so today we're going to make another cone craft. And if you joined us yesterday, you learned a little bit about cones and coniferous trees, but I'm going to kind of review that really quick and then we'll get started with our craft here. So cones, when you think about cones, you automatically, a lot of us think pine cones, but not all cones come from pine trees. There are many different trees that produce cones, and the pine tree is just one of those trees that does, and it actually is in a bigger group of trees called coniferous trees. And so coniferous trees are different than deciduous trees, those trees that have big flat leaves and lose them in the fall time and are bare in the winter. Coniferous trees have needles on them. So this is actually a little branch from a pine tree, and pine trees can have long, flexible needles that are pretty soft, like this one. Or another type of coniferous tree is a spruce tree, and so they can have short, kind of spiny, prickly needles. Coniferous trees keep their needles all year round. Sometimes they might shed a few, but they stay green all year round with those needles, unlike deciduous trees. Coniferous trees also produce cones, and there are many different kinds of cones because there are many different kinds of coniferous trees. So they can be teeny tiny like this one. They can be round and medium sized like this one. They can be large cones like this one, or they can be extra large cones like this one. So there are many different shapes and sizes of cones that are produced from different kinds of coniferous trees. And so this cone is actually not the seed. It's kind of the pod or the vessel for the seed. So it holds the seeds inside. If I tap this cone down here on my table, I'm going to show you one of the actual seeds. And so a cone has many different seeds. I'll hold that up. It's kind of tiny and you can't really see it. It is a teeny tiny seed. It kind of looks like one of those samaras or one of those helicopter seeds from a maple tree. It has a little seed and a little wing that it can fly down if it comes out of the big cone. So each cone has many different seeds, and these little sections right here, these are called scales, and they're closed when the cone is on the tree. When the cone falls off the tree, they open up and then the seeds fall out. So we're going to make a fun little nature craft today, after we learned a little bit about cones, a glitter cone. And glitter is really fun to work with. It's very messy too, so this is going to be a little bit of a messy one. So I have some newspaper down in front of me here to catch some of the glitter, but we're going to make two different glitter cones today. The first one is going to look like this. I pre-made one so we can kind of take a look at it, and you can see if I hold it up there that this cone has little teeny dots of glitter all over the scales here, and this one's really fun to make, and I made that with a little kind of glitter glue tube here that has a little point where you can write or put glitter specifically where you want it, and there's glue mixed in there, so it's really easy to kind of decorate that way. Or we're going to do it the messy way, where we're going to use some glue from a tube, put it all over the cone, and then sprinkle some glitter on there in just a little bit. One thing that you want to keep in mind when you're making these glitter cones, when you make them, it's not really a good idea to then set them down because all that glitter is going to come off. So one way that you can do, you can either directly hang them right on your tree or someplace you can hang them. One kind of neat way is you can use a big bowl like this and a wooden spoon or spatula and slip those strings right on there and hang them so they are protected and they dry. It takes a little bit for the glue to dry, okay? So we're going to start with our little glitter glue tube cone here that we're going to make. First thing you want to do though is put your string on, because after you put the glitter on, it's going to be too messy to handle. So you can use string. I'm using some red string here today. Cut yourself off a piece or a length that you want to. And most of the cones, they're going to have a tiny little stem right here. So you can tie that right onto. If they don't, you can actually tie it to one of the scales on the top here, whatever way you want. One thing I should also mention again here is that if you would like a kit with some of these cones in them to make your own nature crafts at home, you can email me at mbulger@co.iowa.ia.us. If you'd like some materials here, we can get those to you. Make sure that you let me know which craft you want, how many, and give me a name there. And then I'll email you back with availability if we have some still available and the pickup location, okay? So what I'm gonna do is tie this string on here with a nice little knot. And this is a really fun one for kids to work on and do. Go gather some cones outdoors. You might have a coniferous tree in your yard, or you can find one at a park. So I tied that on so it's nice and secure, and then I want to tie the other end so I have a little loop here so I can hang it when it is finished to dry and then to put out. I think I'm going to use silver today for this little cone. I'm going to decorate it just like I did that little green one here. So I'm just going to put little dots of glitter on the edge of each scale. And you can be conservative with your glitter and just put a tiny little dot, or you can put more. Keep in mind though that if you put more, it's going to take a little bit longer to dry. So you want to make sure you give it enough time to dry. I would say let your cones dry for a good couple of hours before you handle them. So I'll put a few more dots on here. And then I'm going to put this on my wooden spoon and hang it in my bowl so it can dry. Or if you have someplace else to hang, like a Christmas tree, you can do that as well. All right, so now we're gonna make our bigger cone, and this is going to be a little bit more messy. So first thing you wanna do, you want to cut your string and tie it to the stem on the cone. So we have that to hang. And this one has a nice big stem, so it's really easy to tie onto there. This cone does come from a pine tree. It comes from a white pine tree. They have nice big cones, so they're great for using to decorate with because they're easy to hold on to. They're also great cones to use to make a pine cone bird feeder, and that's where you either take peanut butter or you take Crisco and kind of spread it over and then roll it in seeds. All right, so we got our string hand on there, and I'm gonna put my little pie tin right here because I'm going to be catching some of that extra glitter. And then I'm gonna take my glue and I'm just going to cover it with glue all over the place. And that glue is what is going to catch the glitter when we are finished. If you want to have a little bit more of a pattern, you could put it on with a paintbrush if you want to, or you can dot it. But I like this way with this kind of cone a little bit better because it's pretty random. All right, so got our cone covered in lots of glue there. Now I'm going to open up my container of glitter. I'm going to be using red here, and then I'm just going to sprinkle it. And you're going to have some fall down. That's why I have the container underneath here, or paper, whatever you want it to catch. And that way you can reuse it. Another thing you can do is if you have a big container of the glitter, you can roll it in there. So we are putting some glitter on here, and I think you look pretty good. So we have a nice little sparkly cone there with glitter, and I'm gonna put this again on my wooden spoon here to dry. I'm not gonna touch it, and so that glue doesn't come off there, or the glitter doesn't come off. All right, and so that is our final holiday nature craft, our glitter cone here. I hope you enjoyed our series here, taking some things that you can find out in nature and making some crafts with them. Again, a reminder, if you have any questions for me, you can put those in the comments or email me with requests for the craft kits, or have any questions at mbulger@co.iowa.ia.us. And I want to thank you very much for joining us for this Holiday Nature Craft series, and wishing everyone a safe and happy holidays. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.